So the history of Quimby's Bookstore actually begins in the 80s in Allston, Massachusetts, in Boston. And that started with a small store called the Primal Plunge. I was doing a zine called Quimby Quarterly, and I knew a guy there who started a very small zine store called the Primal Plunge. And after a couple of years, I took that store over. It was very small, just did zines. And I decided that if I moved to a larger city and expanded beyond zines to include like alternative books and magazines and things like that, maybe I could actually make enough money that I would just be able to live off that and not have to do the store and also work a 9-to-5 job. And that's what I did. I moved to Chicago in 1991 and opened Quimby's in September of 1991 in Wicker Park in Chicago. When I sold the store to the guy who owned Chicago Comics, because he felt that it was important enough to keep it going. So that store has been there since 1991, almost 27 years. I moved in 1997 to Amsterdam, where I worked for an improv comedy theater, doing lights and sound and video. I did almost 20 years, and then decided in 2016 that it was time to move back to the States. I wanted to live in New York, and I wanted to do Quimby's again. So I contacted the good folks at Quimby's, who I've remained in touch with all these years, and asked how they would feel about it. And they were like, it's crazy because bookstores don't make any money, but if you want to do it, go ahead. This store is aesthetically just a little bit different in that I am a big fan of natural history museums and have decorated with a lot of taxidermy and bugs and things like that because I love that book. So they don't really have that in the one in Chicago, but it does still have that feeling of a lot of bizarre artwork, and it's not, the second you walk in, you know it's not your typical bookstore.